meeting with the leader of opposition, the Right Honorable Matthias Mpuga, who gave us audience, and we want to thank him and thank his kind indulgence. But we presented a position paper as a forum to him about the National Budget Framework paper and how it is presenting itself. Of course, we drew it from the budget performance of 2021 to 2022 that shows that while the donor partners walked a journey of SAGE with us from 2010 to 2022, in June they exited. And we want to know whether there is a review report from the Ministry of Gender and government as such towards this cause. Where do the donors leave us after 12 years? And so where do we pick it up from? And that is where we want to see the national social protection strategy for this country going forward, now that the donors have exited and we have taken over the mantle. But surprisingly, what we see in the National Budget Framework paper for 23-24 is that the finances are dwindling, a severe cut on the money that is supposed to go to SAGE. We expected 121 billion to serve 306,000 plus older persons who are 80 years and above, without even any consideration about those who will be 80 during the course of the year. And this money did not even have a consideration of the 5.1 billion in arrears, the 8 billion that the ministry requires to correct the identity cards of the older persons who are eligible, who are 43,559. And so in total, we require a budget of 134 billion, of which the budget framework paper has provided 24 billion.26. And for us, we ask ourselves whether now the money is going to be reduced to 5,000 each instead of 25,000. Already the 25,000 they have been getting for the last 12 years, the value has dwindled scientifically to 14,500. That's the value now of the 25,000 that they have been getting. And while we want to enroll more, while the Parliament advised and recommended for a cut on the eligibility age to 75 and an increase on money to 30,000, the Ministry of Finance did not seem to pick that in their budget framework paper. And so, and all the other vulnerable persons, people living with disabilities, in rehabilitation centers, on their special grant, to support them to also participate in the economy. And the children who are on the streets, who are in remand homes, children who are in hazardous child labor, children who have started committing suicide because no one seems to care about them, the children who are all over the place. We even cited the recent PLE results, where the government enrolled in primary one in 2016, 1,880,000 children to P1, only 832,000 registered for primary 7. That means we dropped 1 million. And out of those, 23,000 did not turn up for exams, so they absconded. And as if that is not enough, 97,000 of those who sat had no grade. They were ungraded. That means they failed. They can't transit to secondary one. And now we remain with only 700,000 students or pupils that are supposed to transit to secondary school. Who knows whether even the 700 will all transit? Because many have passed from grade 1 to grade 4, but transition in as far as money and school fees and tuition is concerned, we may have to drop another lot of them. But where do these children go? They are suffering on the streets. They are in remand homes, having been committed a number of offenses. They are just all over the place, teenage pregnant, and others are being trafficked out of the country. And so we talked to the leader of opposition to remind government that in 2015, when we passed the Children's Act amendments, we enacted a National Children's Authority, which has never been operationalized. They have no financing, they have no structures, and the children continue to be abused, both in homes, on the streets, and in schools. So, and then the budget for PWDs from 16.6 billion has been cut to 3.32 billion, and we don't know how this will work, because even at 16.6 billion, it was only serving 66 districts, not 158 districts, cities, and municipal councils. And the money for street children is cut to only 20 million. And we don't know how to use that money throughout the country to pick children on the streets of all the urban places. We are looking at money for mindset change and community sensitization on a zero budget. So that means the vulnerable people will not have anywhere they can be encouraged and supported and defended for them to enjoy the different programs that government has brought. PDM, Emioga, and all those. And so we were giving our prayers that Parliament and the leader of opposition and his team should collaborate with us so that our voice is stronger to cause government to be able to support the people who are vulnerable. Every stable government can only be assessed at the way they treat the people who are vulnerable among them, not the way they treat the rich people. And in any case, we told the leader of opposition that when the poor don't sleep, the rich will not sleep. When the older persons die because of the shock of cutting this money from them, we shall bury them, but we shall not bury the curses that they will leave to us. So these are things we need to take very seriously, and every duty bearer takes their mantle to ensure that the vulnerable people amongst us are supported to live a life of dignity.
Is one of the unfunded priorities. These are very serious issues. Honorable Chair and the team, I am humbled with your presence, and I want to request that the train should not stop. And should you notify me of the next engagement, especially with the Speaker, I will duly participate. Because we need to develop the consensus of the leaders in the building first. Once that consensus is generated, then I think we can achieve our goal. And we must commit the Minister of Finance before the budget is passed to commit. I was with you in the 10th Parliament. We stalled the budget until a component of health was met. We still, I think with only with 9th or 10th Parliament, one of the Parliament, 9th. Yeah, we stopped the budget until the commitment was made. We can do the same for social protection. Yeah. So we need to raise the red flag in earnest and let the issues be in black and white. Once that is done, then I think we shall have a serious crawback on the intentions. But I can tell you, I know how the state is run. The state looks at you with one eye and closes another. When you don't see, they run away with whatever they have. So it's your job to stop them from running away with their loot.
Better than when you get to see that there's a severe budget cut from this issue of the social protection. That is, like I did say and mentioned earlier, from 134 billion Ugandan shillings to 24.2 billion of the budget cut, and as well the donors here. Some of the other concerns is the fact that the donors are no longer funding the social protection sector, and so the office of the leader of opposition is set to support and raise these concerns at the floor of Parliament by the end of the financial year, and we see whether the next financial year will have a different kind of say or a different budget allocated or an increment in the budget to the social protection sector. You're still watching Smart Means Business, and this is Smart24 TV. It's just 2 days into February, And of course, there are lots of expectations that the math is likely going to be a profitable one for those who will be ready to conquer the business world. But besides that as well, when we do return after the break, we have the latest from sports business and entertainment business with Baridi Andrew. Stick around. Good morning.